This is not the mousse, chocolate mousse that I'm talking about. This is silt that comes, see if you can get an idea of the texture of it. I'm doing it one-handed. And it comes down out of the swampiness. And what I do is I take the shovel or the hose, shovel's good for here, and I scoop up a bunch of it and cast it onto the breast. That first pig enjoyed a cooling wallow, the second just walked through. Now I'm going to try, as I'm working along here, I'm going to see if you can see the way this breaks up, sort of. Yeah, you might, yeah, I think you can see that. You can see that this is not just normal mud, but that still isn't the chocolate mousse I'm talking about. There's lots more to be scooped. Here's where I've paused. But I wanted to show you that there's a pattern developing. You can see that I'm scooping to the right, and what I'm laying down there is that extremely rich well, it still isn't quite that chocolate mousse, but and gradually it builds up to a very fertile breast to this Zanja, or Western Trench Royal maybe. And it's so easy to move. I mean, probably in the last 15 minutes I've moved, I don't know, wet weight 300-400 pounds effortlessly. Dry weight probably 100 pounds effortlessly. And I'm just catching what's coming down through the, I'll call it the swamp, but I've made it on purpose. I'm catching it, well, rather the Trench Royal's catching it, because it's on an almost perfect contour. And so when it slows up, it drops the whatever it's carrying, catching it, and I'm casting it onto the breast. We'll take a look at what's coming down through and how it is maybe in the next shot. You can even see where the shovel breaks through, how it breaks through the first layer, which is finer yet, to a second one. And this is being carried down by that water that looks comparatively clear. But once it hits the water on a perfect contour, it slows up, and this is what it's carrying. Now there's a hatch that's broken out, and there's one. As the pigs are through here, they're a little careless of my work. But that's all right, we work together. Oh, so tempting to just lay down. All right, come on, girl. Yeah, no. Feels so good. Now I'll go along and repair what she did, and I'll repair this. But I wanted to point out the way the soil is, where I've made a shovel cut. That's clay. I mean, it's pretty much solid clay with a little bit of sod on top of it. And it's a mystery. I mean, it's a mystery that I'll eventually figure out if I live long enough, why it looks like it does up through there. This is the last place on the property to drain and get control of. Here's a study that can be made. I mean, this tan colored, that's where she stirred it up, and that's probably mostly clay. But you see how that's separating out as it hits the still water? There's like probably 4 colors besides the clear. Now I'm going to try to establish a place that it wants to come out of its own, the natural drain. Then I can start holding it or letting it through more easily and holding it higher. I think my approach to this, and it's looking to me as if this whole thing was once bare clay, just bare clay. It was maybe mined as clay. That might help explain why it is. But anyway, my approach, I think, is I'm going to start taking places like that and blocking them, putting a sod or a lump of clay there and blocking any obvious drain. And that's going to force it to hold even more water than it is already. And then I'll go from there. I'll choose one of the drains to use as the principal one. So that's, at least I have a plan. I've started with that approach, and here I think is a good candidate for being the drain for this whole area. Water has been coming in from the left and in from the right to this spot, and I don't think I'm going to block that off. I think I'm going to leave that open, and at least for now, I'll shut the supply to it off, but at least for now, consider that the drain to the clay field. I'm going to call this the clay field. I'm content with this plan, but I'm not going to use the shovel, not very much. I'm going to use the hoe, and I'm going to I've only got like a ½ inch or an inch of organic matter to work with above that clay pan, that hard pan. But I'll work with it and already start gathering and creating breasts to zonjas all the way up here, wherever I see a ripple. And if things go well, I'll be able to put a lot of this underwater to the extent that it'll be apparent where the zonjas are the ones to be enhanced. I have tried other stuff here. I tried extreme mulching with old rugs, with planks, with wood. I have dug ditches in the right conditions, but now's the time to actually do it. I can put a lot of water here, and I'm going to essentially put it underwater if I can. Now up at the top, I'm also going to keep drawing water from the left and from the right and send it down through this area.